Everyone, it's Kathy and welcome back here to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be working with Stampin' Up's new country flowers. Now, if you saw my last card that I made, I used the country birdhouse, and this is a part of the collection. In the collection, remember I told you get 2 stamp sets and 2 die sets, two different designer series paper, some specialty paper, some gems, ribbon. It is the whole shebang. So anyway, I had worked on a card a little bit yesterday, and this is what I came up with using this particular bundle. And I love the way it turned out. I used the country linen paper. I have my card base in boho blue, and I'm going to show you how to recreate the same card. That's what we're going to do today. So the first thing I want to do is I want to do my stamping. So what I used on this card was the little stool, the milk pail, and 2 of the flower arrangements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and load these on blocks, and then I'm going to stamp them. So I'm going to get that one loaded. I'm going to lay them over like that. Let's see, let me get that on there a little bit better. There we go. And the same with this one. And this one. And one more. Now I have another block. Okay, we'll take one of those off when we get to it. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to stamp all of these in Memento Tuxedo Black because we are going to alcohol blend. So I'm going to open up my Memento and go ahead and ink this up. And I'm going to stamp this down at the bottom. Like that. And then I'm going to do my little milk pail. And stamp it right about here. Give it a good press. And then we're going to do one of the flowers. Very pretty. And I'm going to pull the stool off of this one. I know I have another block. Oh, I knew that I had another block. I have a sentiment on it. Okay. I was looking in my drawer and I said, I know I have 4 of those, this size block. But anyway, I found it. So I'm going to ink that up really good and stamp this one right about here. Now, the reason I'm stamping them all on the same paper, I want to color these, and I prefer to color before I die cut. It's a preference. It's totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and clean these stamps while I have them out. So I'm going to pick that one up on the back of that. Go ahead and give this a good clean. And I'm using the Stampin' Scrub. It is my favorite stamp cleaning device from Stampin' Up. Love it because you'll never wear this out. It is washable, and it's just a great tool to have for cleaning your stamps. And anyone knows me knows I'm a stickler for keeping my stamps nice and clean. And the reason I take such good care of my stamps, I sell my stamps when they retire. In fact, I have a sale going on now. If you haven't had a chance to go back into my video library, and you will see there's 3 videos, one with Stampin' Dies and punches, one with paper, and one with ribbon. So if you're interested in a great bargain, go check those out. All right, so now we're going to grab some blends and we're going to color these. But I'll tell you what, we're going to let that dry for a little bit. The reason I'm going to let that dry, I want to bring up my card base. So I'm going to grab some paper. This is that beautiful country lace designer series paper, and I cut a piece from that. I'll give you the measurements as we go. I have a card base that is a half a sheet of 8.5 by 11, so it measures 8.5 by 5.5. We're going to score it at 4.25. So I'm going to bring up my score board. I'm going to lay this up in that top left-hand corner, and I'm going to come down to 4.25 and give that a good score. That's all the scoring we need to do on this card. And I'm going to fold that in here. Then we'll take my bone folder because I want a nice even crease. And that gives me a beautiful card base. And then I have a piece of white, and this is 4 by 5.25. And that's going to go on as my first mat. Something like that. And then I'm going to use this piece of designer series paper, and that is going to build a mat on top of that. I just love a card that has lots of mats. I think it's so pretty, and I think it's, I don't know, I just something about it that I love. I'm going to lay that to the side because I'm not going to glue anything together yet. Let's bring this back over, and I'm going to grab some blends, and I need a pecan pie, and I need a smoky slate. And that's for these two. So I'm going to get those colored first. And I'm going to go in with my lighter color using my brush tip. And all I want to do on this is just lay down color. So I'm going to color this really well. And the alcohol blends are so forgiving that as long as you stay within your line, your coloring is going to look flawless. As you can see how the color evens out. Just be careful not to go over those lines, and you can rest assured that you're going to get the desired effect. Right, we got that all colored in. So now I'm going to go in with my dark, and this is how you get some contrast to your coloring. So I'm going to go around the edges of my little stool, top of that line, a little bit toward the back, and then I want to go down like that on the legs. Once I get it like that, about like that, I'm going to go back in with that lighter color, and I'm just going to blend. And you can see that I did go outside the line, and if that happens to you, we have a color lifter. So to clean that up, you're just going to go in and just do that. And if you want a little bit of highlight right there in the middle, you can lighten that just by going over it a little bit. And it gives you just a tiny bit of a lift in the color. And you can see it lifting as it dries. That is a great tool to have. So if you buy the blends, I would suggest to get the color lifter and you get 2 of these in a pack. So, all right, now we're going to come in with our smoky slate. And I'm going to do my light one first, just like I did before. And I'm just going to put down color. Like that. I found it so much easier just to color everything with the lighter color and then to come back in and shade. To me, it just, I don't know, it just blends better that way. So I'm going to come down. And then I'm going to come in with that dark smoky slate. And I'm going to go around my edges. And this ring, I want it to be darker. So I'm going to go over it. A little attachment there where the handle is. And then I want this bottom section to be darker. And then I'm going to go in with just some little squiggly lines on both sides, not coming all the way to the center, something like that. And I'm leaving that middle open. Then I'm going to go back with that light one. And then as that dries, you will see it will start to lighten, and you'll see that looks like the light is kind of shining on the middle of it. All right, so we got these done. Let's move those out of the way, and we need to bring in some pretty colors for our flowers. So I'm going to do a boho blue. I'm going to do a granny apple green or some leaves. I want to do I'm going to do cotton parade for my roses. On the first one I did, I used the real red and cherry cobbler, and I thought they were a little bit too dark. So I'm going to try the poppy parade on these. So we're going to go in, and this is the poppy parade light. And I'm just going to go in and color that rose. I like those colors much better. So now for the dark granny apple green, I'm going to use the bullet tip for this because these flowers are a little small and it's easier to control your ink. It's like another rose petal back there. I'm going to do this green, and I think I'm going to do this. And I can see where I got out of my line right here. So I'm going to go in with that color lifter and just see if I can lift that a little bit. Let that dry. And I want some Daffodil Delight. Like that over there. And I'm going to go in with the white Daffodil Delight. And I just want to hit a little yellow on these little sprigs. You don't have to be precise. You can just kind of hit the color, every here and there. That's all I'm going to do with that one. Now with this one, I'm going to use my dark granny apple green. And I want to hit these these leaves first. Kind of establish where my leaves are at. I think that pretty much establishes where the leaves are at. So now we can go back in with some color. And I have the dark boho blue. And I want that large flower to be blue. So I'm going to outline. And that's very pretty. Now, all three of these are ready to be cut. Now I'm going to slide all of my markers over here out of my way. And I'm going to get my dies out. And we're going to go ahead and get these die cut. And I also want to die cut some other little pieces, and I have those already situated. I've got some green apple green leaves that we're going to cut out of this piece. And this is pecan pie, and I have that little pot that I want to cut out of that. So now, let's see, I believe this was on here too. Yeah. We may need to anchor that a little bit better. Like that. Now this one goes on this one. All right, so we're going to run this all through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Let's grab my large one. I'm grabbing my number 1 plate, my number 2 adapter plate, a very well-loved cut plate, and a very well-loved cover plate. So I'm going to lay these in like that, and it looks like I can get all of these in one shot. And I love it when that happens because that saves me from having to run through multiple times. So let's get that in. That is those cut. So let's pull those away. Lay everything over here. And then let's lay this down and our leaves. And we'll run that through. Do the same thing with these. We'll just lay them over here. All of our little leaves up. I'm starting to show a little bit of bowing in this, so I'm going to flip that over so next time it is flipped like that. And this plate I flip every time. Keeps your plates nice and flat and keeps them from bowing. And when your plates don't bow, you can get so much more wear out of them. Oh, we do need one more thing. I need a piece of black. And I'm going to use the stylish shape dies, and I'm going to use the largest circle. So let's go ahead and cut that while we got the die cut machine here. And I have a scrap that's going to fit perfectly. Okay, we've gotten everything die cut now. So I think we are ready to pour it together. We are going to need another piece of white. And this is a scrap. I love using my scraps when I can. I'm going to lay this in at 4 inches. And cut it to 4 by 5 1/4. And that will be for our inside. So now we can bring our card back over. We have our inside mat. We have our outside mats. I have a focal point. I have lots of little leaves and ditties that we cut that are so much fun. And these, if they don't come out real easily, this is where your take your pick tool comes in. So handy. Love this tool. There's all kinds of attachments that go with it. And it is like one of those tools that I use every time I craft. So I always say if you use a tool all the time, it's worth the investment. And that is definitely one that I would say is worth the investment. It's a pokey tool. It's a picker-up tool. It has attachments for scoring. It has attachments for cutting. This thing has attachments for everything. It is a wonderful tool. There's even a die brush that comes available for it. So many things you can do with the Take Your Pick tool. All right, I've got all of my little die pieces out, and that cut that off. That's okay, because I'm going to go in with my paper snips, if I can find them, and I'm going to snip off just some of these little leaves like that. I think that's all I'm going to use out of that. I've got plenty of other little ones, so I think we can get away with using those. All right. So we have those and all of these. I think that'll be perfect for how I want to do this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take all of my die pieces off. And when you die cut and you have some little pieces like this where it cut wider on one side and you don't like the look, go in with your scissors and just trim it back. It's not a big deal. And it's something that we all can do. If you've got a little pair of paper snips like these, it makes it so easy. Or any little detail pair of scissors. Love these paper snips because they are sharp, they're very precisioned, and they are just the bomb. All right, and I think this little green one needs a little bit of a haircut. That. And I think that will work. And I need to get rid of all those little pieces that you don't need. Now on the front of this little ditty, I want to stamp where it says Flower Market. I love that little stamp. I think it's so cute. And we are going to stamp that right on the front of this little pot. And line that up. Grab a stamp block. And my Versafine, because this is going to give me a darker image, because it's a pigment ink. If you're interested in this, all the other products are Stamping Up, and you can shop for those on my website. But if you're interested in anything that is a non-Stamping Up product, you can also shop with me on my Amazon store, and all the links are listed below the video. So pretty. Love that. All right. So now we are ready to go ahead and start putting everything together. So these little flowers I want coming up out of this pot, something like that. So to do that, I'm going to run just a tiny bit of glue across the top right about here. And then I'm going to sit that down into the glue. Give it a good press. I like to hold it in my fingers until it adheres. That is done. Now we have our little stool. And we have our little milk bucket. And we have our sprig of flowers. And now we're ready to attach these on there, something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to run a little bead of glue across the top of my milk pail. And then I'm going to set those roses right there in it. So pretty. And this is going to be the perfect place to sit this. Let's make sure that glue attaches. There we go. And then this is going to be the perfect little stand for that. And that's not adorable. So in order to glue that down, I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue right there across the bottom. And then I'm going to set it right on top of that stool. Now that's all together. These are together. So now let's build our focal point on this. So I want to pop this up and I want to have those little leaves coming out from behind. So let's pop it up first. So I'm going to do that by okay, so I've got all of my dimensionals on the back of this. So we're just going to lift those off. And then I want to center this onto this little black circle. Something like that. And then I'm going to use all of these little leaves to kind of dress up around here. So we're going to have some of them sticking out like this, and you can see how they will tuck in there. And we're going to go back and put glue on them. But how cute is that? Get them in like that. I think it gives it an added little oomph, and I like that. Let's maybe one right there. I think that might be plenty. I like that. I think it looks really cute. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue these leaves all down. So I'm just going to start over here on one side and a little glue. All right. Now that we've got all of our leaves in and we've got this done, we are ready to go ahead and build our card. So the other thing we need to do, we do need to do a sentiment. And on the first one, I did sending love. And I think I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And I'm going to stamp it with the Versafine Onyx Black ink. I'm just going to stamp that right here at the bottom. So, and I am going to bring my trimmer over because I can't cut a straight line for nothing. I don't know if y'all are like that, but I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch off of that bottom like that. And then I'm going to bring that up to 3/4 of an inch and cut. Now we got a nice little straight sentiment. And I am going to ribbon tail cut this. So I'm just going to cut in and in. And then in. And then we have our sentiment. So let's go ahead now and build everything onto here. So I think, yeah, I'm just going to use liquid glue. I'm going to put a line of glue like so, and set that down on here. Give that a press. And then we are going to put this right here, kind of up high. And then this is going to go here. I'm going to put this one down flat and this one on dimensionals. So this is very simple. Just put some glue on the back. And all of the products that I'm using here today, the Stampin' Up! Products, these will be available next Wednesday, May the 1st. The new catalog will launch, and then it's open to everybody to place an order and get these new items. But I will tell you, if you got your eye on a certain item in that new catalog, you might want to grab your stuff up early because I have a feeling a lot of this really pretty stuff is going to sell out fast. And they will get it back in, but you won't be one of the first ones to get and be able to play with it. So if you see something you really, really love, I would say grab it early. All right, we got our dimensionals on this. So we pull off our backers. And turn this over. And I'm going to set it right on the bottom edge of this card for the mat. And then press everything down. And then this is going to go, you might cut a tiny bit off of this. And that is going to go right here. I'm not pleased with the way that looks, so I'm going to trim that. Let's do this again. So I'm going to put a dimensional on the back, on this side. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on that other side. So 2 dimensionals there, just like that, and then a little bit of glue right here. Peel these off. And then we're going to set that right about there. Press it. Now this is all ready to go onto our boho blue card base. Make sure my card's opening on the right side. And then set this down. Like that. Is that pretty? Absolutely gorgeous. Do you love that or what? I am thrilled. I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Now for our inside, we are going to put this on the inside, and I don't think I'm going to stamp the inside on this one. I'm just going to leave this in because I may want to write a personal note. I may want to do some more artwork inside. I haven't really decided, but that is our card for today. I hope you've enjoyed the process of me making it. Here's the other one. The colors are just a tiny bit different, but all in all, it's the same card, and I think both of them turned out absolutely beautiful. Thanks so much for watching, tuning in. May God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.